Chapter 39, Attribute Charting. Organizing information to support understanding is what I chose from the book this time. Okay, so I'll get started here. Okay, class, today we're going to continue working about Florida like we've been doing all week. So as you can see up here on the board, I have a chart up here. And this chart is called Attribute Charting. Does anyone know what attribute means? Anybody? No, that's okay. This is a word that we haven't used, so this is a new word for all of you. Attribute is just, as I like to say, a fancy way of saying traits. So we're going to be doing a chart of traits of Florida. And as you can see, I have it broken down to the north, the central, and southern Florida. So we're going to go ahead and everything that we've learned so far this week, we're going to pick a couple about the north, about the central, and then the south. I'm going to write it up there for us, and then after we're done with that, you're going to go back to your seat, and then you're going to go ahead and make a picture of everything that we've learned today. So we're going to start on the top there with North Florida. And what can you remember from everything that we've learned about North Florida and its traits and everything, or that was specific to North Florida? Yes, peanuts. They like to grow peanuts up there. Okay, is there anything else that we can think of? Tomatoes, yes, they will grow tomatoes up there, I agree. Okay, can we think of anything else? When you think of North Florida, where is North Florida? Is it surrounded by land or is there anything by it? Yeah, it's surrounded by water. So when you think of water, what do you think of? Exactly, fishing. So there's some fishing up there too. Okay, so when we were learning about Florida, does North Florida look like Central Florida or South Florida? The land a little bit different. So you figured here, it's pretty flat. When you get down to South Florida, it's even flatter also. So was North Florida the same way, or was it a little bit different? Exactly, it was a little different. They had more hills up there in North Florida, so it's hilly. So I'll put hills. Okay. Does anyone else want to think of one more for North Florida? Because this is definitely an awesome list we have going on so far. Trees? I like that, trees. And what about trees is important with North Florida? Exactly, it builds houses. So we have the lumber from the trees up there. So if you've been to North Florida, there's a lot more trees up there than what you see here or even down in South Florida. So they have the trees for the lumber, which is definitely one of the things that North Florida is known for. So lumber. That's awesome. That's a good one. So that's a lot there for North Florida. There's a lot more. I know you guys could probably think of a lot more, but that's going to be a good starting point there for the North Florida. How about Central Florida? What do you think of a Central Florida? Again, yes, fishing. Fishing I can also probably put for South, so I'll go ahead and put fishing for both for right now. Because fishing is definitely a big thing. Okay. What else do we think of when we think of Central Florida? There's one that I'm thinking of. I want to see if anyone else can think of it. Blueberries, exactly. We have the Blueberry Festival, and that's one of the big things here in Central Florida, so blueberries. And besides blueberries, what else do we have also? Exactly, the Strawberry Festival and strawberries. Good job. What else can you think of when you think with Central Florida? What else do we have here in Central Florida that North Florida or South Florida doesn't have? Exactly, we have Disney. Disney's part of Central Florida, so I'm going to write Disney here. So we have Disney. When we also think of Disney, what else is fairly new, but that's also going, that you'll see before you get to Disney, that's over there as well. Legoland, exactly. So we can put Legoland down too as a Central Florida thing. I will use the one that's right down the street from us, Busch Gardens, exactly, Busch Gardens. Let's think of either one or two more that we can think of with Central Florida, either amusement parks or something that's big that's only found here in Central Florida. NASA, exactly, we have NASA. So I'll go ahead and add NASA here. Okay. And can we think of maybe one more that we want to maybe add to it here? So we have Disney, we have Legoland, we have Busch Gardens, we have NASA, we have fishing, we have blueberries, we have strawberries. What else can we think of? We should all think about this one because we have a lot of these around here and everything. Exactly, oranges. We have a lot of orange groves around here, so let's go ahead and write oranges too. Let's add it right here on the end. And oranges, there we go. So we have our north. We have a lot here for central, but that's because we live here in Central Florida. Now let's see what we can do to think of a few more for south. We already have the fishing for the south. What else can we think of when we think of South Florida? What does South Florida have? Yeah, they have the swamps. Do we know what that area is called with the swamps and everything? Exactly, I think I heard it, the Everglades. So let me go ahead and write that here because that's something that's only in South Florida. We don't have the Everglades up here, up in North Florida. That's more of a South Florida thing. So I'll go ahead and write the Everglades here for you. Okay, so we have the Everglades, we have the swampland, we have fishing. What do we have that we can say is pretty much in all three of them, going off of the Everglades, swamp, and fishing? What else do we have that flows up and down Florida or across Florida? Yes, we have lakes and we have rivers. So we can add that to all three, actually. So I'm just going to put that here on the side because it's for all three of them. So we have lakes and rivers. Now I'll add streams too. Okay, so we have fishing, we have swampland, the swamps, we have the Everglades. So we had hills up here in the north. Do we have hills down here in Central and South Florida, or is it more flat? Exactly, it's more flat. So we can go ahead and add flat here too for both of these. Can we think of maybe one more we want to go ahead and add for the south? What can we think of for maybe what they might grow? So we have things that they grow up here, a lot of things that they grow here. And what else can we think of what they grow in South Florida? Can we think of one? Or even maybe one or two? Pineapple, exactly. They grow pineapple down there. So that's an awesome job, guys. So we have a handful for the north, a good number for the central because that's where we live. And we got a few here for the south, which is really good. But like I said, we've been learning about Florida all week, so I know there's a lot more that you could probably think of when you get back to your seats and everything, but this is definitely a good start. So with this, I'm going to keep this up here on the board for you, and let me show you what we're going to do next. When you get back to your seats, I'm going to go ahead and pass out a blank map of Florida. What you're going to do with this blank map of Florida, you're going to get creative. You're going to have some fun with it. Not everyone's Florida is going to look the same, but what you're going to do is think of either using our north, central, south, and the traits of them, or what you can think of from the books that we've been reading and in your own textbook. And you're going to go ahead and put, okay, we'll all use one for an example. I'll go with NASA, because NASA's over here. So right there, you can go ahead and put like a little star or something, and then put NASA next to it. So you can see what that's where NASA is. So you can kind of see here with like the rivers. You just go ahead and like look at the map. You can kind of say, okay, river goes this way, or goes down here, or goes across. In the south with the Everglades, you can kind of put dots or something to represent the Everglades. You can do it any way you want to. You're going to make this blank map of Florida look very colorful and add specific traits with Florida and with the different parts there. And so that's going to be the assignment, what we're going to do going forward. So if there's no questions, you can quietly stand up, go back to your seats, and I'll have the teacher's helper pass out the paper of Florida, and you guys can start working on your own. Thank you guys.